So today is the first day of a new cycle in Sigil, which means I have to recolor my calendar so I know what day it is.
Oh yeah, is Hashkar dead?
Is who dead?
Hashkar.
No, Hashkar's not dead.
He wasn't supposed to die yet.
It's next year.
Oh, he dies sometime this year.
Yeah.
Yes, at some point this year.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that there's 2 days left till Hashkar dies. Because I thought he died in the last year.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, then Brick Road went up here and scribbled over and wrote 128 year Ashkar's reign.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember why, but in the first month of, which is Amnesius now, on the 28th, I have a note on the calendar that just says Riot dies.
Oh, that was the Dustman's proclamation.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I think there was a whole thing about that.
Well, it was a long time ago. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you still might die.
I did die that day, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were doing your
Performance, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that was the day I think I got kidnapped by Diller.
Yeah.
The most dangerous
right.
man in Sigil.
The most
Right.
dangerous minutes.
I'm just clearing out some of these calendar stuff. Like, we don't need a date telling me that Riot's handbills are done, or that Kelian's
Sure.
crossbow is done.
Yes, crossbow is done in more ways than one by now.
His crossbow
And
is...
Riot's always got more handbills.
Right.
I think Riot's graduated from just passing out handbills.
Yeah, now she's on that sensory stone stuff.
I don't know. If you think anything's beneath Riot.
Riot, you receive a visitor
Mm-hmm.
at the church on the 1st, which is a day called New Cycle's Dawn. It's the rough equivalent of New Year's Day, obviously, but it's not really a holiday, it's just a way to mark the calendar.
So you didn't have a write-up for this in your big holiday thing? I'm trying to remember.
Uh,
I need to bookmark that page.
yeah, I'm bringing it up right now.
Cycle. No.
So it's just a popular time for parties,
Yeah.
but there's no official way to celebrate.
Okay.
A tradition amongst Sigillian children is to keep count of fiends walking the street on the first day of the month. And whoever spots the most gets a special treat during the evening's festivities. So there'll be parties and things to go to tonight. But the actual...
What I'm wondering is, how do they keep track of that? I saw 5. Oh, I saw 10.
Yeah, they probably just lie about it, mostly.
Yeah.
Whoever makes up the best lies about what fiends they see wins. I thought you would know this, Riot.
How many times does Liberation get pointed and laughed at and counted as a scene?
There is a New Year's resolution day, but it's later in the year. It's a couple months from now. So, you receive an unpleasant visitor. Essentially a zombie shows up at the door with an envelope sealed with a very ornate-looking wax seal just pinned to its chest.
This envelope doesn't have K written on it, does it?
No.
Okay, good. Because this is not a romantic favor, and I'm not impressed or pleased. Yeah, I'll take the envelope.
And as soon as you unpin the thing, this body just crumbles to dust in the street and starts washing away into the gutter.
Self-cleaning.
Nice. Yeah, do I have Nope. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't open this now. Maybe I should wait until I get everyone together.
Okay. Coincidentally, everybody else is at the church too.
Okay. Yeah, I'll open up the envelope. See, I think this is what we've been waiting for.
Make a Constitution saving throw.
Well,
Yeah.
that's not a good letter.
That's literally the first line on the letter. It says
To 12.
A 12. As you open up this envelope, you realize it's not an envelope containing like something else. It's just a large piece of parchment that's been folded up into itself in a few ways. But where are you doing this? Up in Riot's office?
Yeah.
And you, as you're unfolding it, you give yourself a very deep paper cut along your index finger. Take 6 points, slashing damage, and make a note because you're going to reduce your maximum hit points by that amount.
Okay.
And Riot jerks her hand back, and several drops of her blood spill onto the parchment. And the whole thing starts to change color as the liquid of it seeps into the fibers of the paper and spreads outward, kind of like the intro cinematic of a pretentious Disney movie.
See, this shit is why I hate dealing with fiends.
And as it does, you see Riot. Everyone looking at this little map. I don't actually have a map of this area you're going to, but I have an image that I really like. But I gotta go to Imager.
Is this what an evil bard would make?
I thought magic maps were nice.
I think a letter that cuts you open, this is more like what an evil governor would make.
Yeah, probably.
Oh,
Are we gonna get a tablet out?
Oh, you know, a tablet's probably better because this image won't expand well to the table. So yeah, I'm gonna spawn in a tablet.
Hurry,
What's the difference? Bards make their living pretending that stories exist, and governors make their living pretending laws exist.
And this is exactly why Mahogany will never hold office. Alright. So this is an image that kind of portrays the character of the map that you're seeing. Just this blasted landscape with no vegetation, no flora or fauna, and just this horrible burning sky. And it's split with deep cracks all along it. And those of you looking at it probably don't have a good idea of what it is. Riot, when you look at it, you have just an intuitive knowledge that you're looking at the plane of infinite portals, which is the first layer of the Abyss. And looking at the map, though it's not marked with anything particular, it's more of a piece of artwork than a map, which is indicative of Planescape maps in general. You also have an intuitive knowledge of where you need to go upon arrival at the plane of infinite portals to find a door that leads to Duke Ransterius' lair.
Okay. This place I'm looking at now, this is not the no air place. This is the way to the door that leads to the place with no air, right?
I'll let you guys individually decide how much you know about the Abyss, but the first layer of the Abyss is called the plane of infinite portals.
Okay.
The idea being that there are portals to the infinite layers of the Abyss on it. And it's, I don't want to say the safest layer of the Abyss, because there's really no such thing, but nobody governs the plane of infinite portal. Nobody is strong enough to hold vast regions of it. There's always lots of war and fighting for territory, but nobody holds any of it for long.
When it comes to how much Mahogany knows about this place, it's usually like, how much does someone in New York know about Paris? Who's never been there?
So what Mahogany knows about the plane of infinite portals is that it's a terrible place to visit, but the food is great?
Exactly.
Okay. Other than that, there's no other instruction given.
Okay.
You have an intuitive knowledge of how to navigate the plane once you arrive, but actually going to the plane is going to be up to you guys.
I'm going to ask Mahogany.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to ask Mahogany how it's coming with that spell.
I'll say, what do you mean?
No breath? I mean, we're kind of relying on you here.
So here's the fun thing.
Okay.
It currently doesn't exist because Kelian has it.
I mean, for the sake of making our lives easy, we'll just say that you have the fungus at this point. Kelian would have handed it off to you at some point.
Yeah, or at least he would have told us.
We'll say that I know where it is, and I can get it before this.
Okay.
Yeah,
because again, there's all that. dumb shit with it. Yeah.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey.
So when Mahogany got a hold of the fungus, he immediately just threw it onto a pile in his shop and forgot about it.
Exactly.
Kind of like my water bill.
And because Mahogany doesn't even remember what's in his shop anymore, it actually counts for the purpose of the spell as being off signal.
So the other question that I wanted to ask was how much is Nath like? Does he know about the Aunt Nancy nonsense?
How much have you guys told him?
That's the other question, because like this is an Aunt Nancy thing. So
now the first session that Nath was introduced, the title of that session in the archives was New Serenity.
Yep.
Because I was under the impression that Mahogany was just going to tell Nath everything.
Yeah, I think even if Liberation or Kelian or Riot wanted to keep anything from Nath, Mahogany exists, so he knows everything.
But I'll leave that up to the two of
likely.
you.
No, that seems likely.
Okay.
Okay.
So what does...
Mahogany, like,
And
Nath is
besides-
curious, and Mahogany is...
Wants to tell him things.
Mahogany's Mahogany.
So Mahogany is so it's safe to say that Mahogany has brought him up to speed with what the Aunt Nancy stuff is.
Yeah.
What is Nath's take on the Aunt Nancy stuff?
Sounds insane. Sounds utterly insane and also utterly fascinating. He is a wizard at heart.
I'm sure you get along with those guys on Limbo.
I'm from Limbo. Yes, I get along with people on Limbo very well. Thank you. Most of my family lives there.
Is that why they don't let you come back?
I could return anytime I wanted if I wasn't busy with
Oh, yeah, sure, yeah.
Faction
I
business.
believe you.
And Riot still believes that Nath is an embedded anarchist in the Harmonium. Is that correct?
Let me unpack that for a second.
Okay.
Riot definitely tells everyone that she believes this, but Riot's no fool.
Okay.
yeah.
Riot is trying to play him as much as she's trying to play him.
And as soon as Nath caught on to that, he immediately Riot, hey, I'm not having any success getting into this group. What can you do for me? Like he's equally trying to play Riot based on her assumptions.
So you now have a
Mahogany just
map.
thinks everyone's having a good old time.
You now have a map that takes you to a door to Duke Granstarius' Lair of the Abyss. Duke Granstarius is one of the leaders of the Aunt Nancy groups, a leader of intelligent undead. One of his minions you rescued in the Beatisu pit a few weeks ago.
So
And yeah, Mahogany, in response to your question of, like, do you have everything planned and all that, Mahogany just basically says, like, what do you mean planned? Like, magic's easy. I just tell my god what I want to do, and he figures it out.
Does Mahogany know what the word plan means?
Yeah, because his opinions on people planning too much.
He saw it in a book once, but he didn't read it.
He's like, oh, they misspelled pun.
I know plans. I love
The tree must be lying to me again.
plan cakes.
You guys, when you were youngins, you did a little bit of adventuring in the Abyss, just long enough to know that you didn't want to be there and never wanted to go back. In the interim time since, has anybody done any plan or research, more formal research into learning the specifics of the plane?
I think Kelian was on that, but then
He's not here.
No, you don't have the benefit of Kelian this week.
yeah.
The question
right.
being,
I
what ducks do you put in a row before heading out to the Abyss?
What do I? I'm now hesitant to ever ask this question, but what do I remember about spellcasting from last time we were there?
As I recall, you guys didn't know you were going to the Abyss. You kind of got dumped there.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, we knew that we were there once we were there. I think.
making an
Yeah.
Arcana check.
We figured it out.
Okay.
Were we on the river?
Yeah, you guys went down the river.
We went
Styx
there by
Road.
the river.
Yeah.
By the river.
Arcana
Styx.
check.
Nath would. So let me think here. I mean, once you guys have mentioned all of the Aunt Nancy stuff and replacement Serenity, I mean, Nath's opinion at this point is that you're all kind of crazy, but he's also pretty goddamn curious. So he will agree to come along if you're asking him to go with him as the replacement Serenity.
What do you know about the Abyss?
Yeah, I
However-
feel like I'm good with putting Nath in charge of like
Yeah, he's
Abyss
gonna
research
immediately go
because
in.
he's the most paranoid person out of any of us.
Okay.
Yep, he would immediately start researching the Abyss with, God, who even knows anything about the Abyss?
He's also a wizard. That's what they're for.
This would be a subject that basically every faction would be able to help you with. This is one of your faction benefits.
I only got a 9 on that Arcana check.
Okay.
So.
Because I don't remember if Riot did like a lot of experimentation with spells there, because it was the Abyss.
Actually, I feel like a lot of the time Riot might have been unconscious.
No, you were out of it.
Yeah, that's right. I was like possessed or something.
The Serenity, I think, had the Abyss take over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Serenity got the flaw like murder is fun or something.
Yes.
I can't wait to murder more people.
Like Serenity had.
Based on your adventures and based on Riot's proclivity to use like distraction and illusion magic, knowing it's a chaotic plane, you can probably expect illusions to be heightened. More than that, Riot doesn't have the first-hand knowledge.
Okay.
Nath,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to do research at the Harmonium, or are you going to look for some other avenue?
First, he would cast Disguise Self as that guy he was posing as when he first went to the Harmonium and see what they have in their libraries about magic use on the Abyss.
But still as a member of the Harmonium?
Yeah.
Okay.
As the private who had just enlisted under that guy in Arcadia. I've got it written down over here.
And being the Harmonium, I mean, their first formal question is, what faction
Why would you
business
ever
are you
go to
attending to on the Abyss?
Right.
So what do you tell them?
Heard that there was possibly a couple of escaped fugitives there. Was interested in maybe wondering if someday I'd want to check it out. Though again, I'm posing as a low-level wizard, so then I'd be like, but then again, I'm obviously not capable of doing so now.
Okay. Here's the information you get about the Abyss. That the official faction stance is essentially that the Abyss is a lost cause. Nothing good can happen there, and that's not hyperbolic. That is the actual purpose of the plane, is to be the exact opposite of good. The plane corrupts people who spend a significant amount of time there. So Harmonium operations that have been taken there in the past have been essentially doomed to failure. They fall apart. As far as magic goes,
I'll mention I have the stuff that we got like 3 sessions ago, like right as Nath joined. So if you guys wrote that down, like I could tell you. I technically wasn't there for that, but I have the gist of it.
Okay. Well, I'll just go through it again real quick so everybody has it. Like alteration magic, anything that changes the form or shape of something, tends to be extreme, chaotic, and usually bad. Conjuration magic functions as well as you could expect. It can only reach the Abyss, Pandemonium, and Githzerai. But all summoning spells, anything that's used to summon an object or a creature, has a percentage chance to summon a hostile demon instead. Divination is pretty much worthless because it's usually wrong and destructive, and Abyssal Lords like to piggyback on it. So whatever you learn, they learn, and they'll use it against you. Illusion magic is doubled in effect, range, and duration. And necromancy has this knack of turning against the caster. Other than that, you're pretty good to go.
I also have telepathy drives you mad. Wild magic tends to be deadly, and elemental spells fail without spell keys. Down from the last time this was researched.
The elemental thing, that's going to depend a lot on individual layers of the Abyss. They'll probably be fine on the plane of infinite portals, though.
Yeah.
So
the reason being, there's nobody in charge of the plane of infinite portal. There's no Abyssal Lord who is piggybacking off anybody's magic.
Yep.
What's your question, McDohl?
You say that divination magic is bad news bears.
Yeah.
That someone is piggybacking off of it. How does that interact with, say, specifically with Hunter's Mark?
Is Hunter's Mark actually divination?
It is.
Probably, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
You're finding out your target's weak.
It's showing you all the weak points in the target. It probably just wouldn't work against a powerful Abyssal Lord. It'd probably show you the wrong places to hit.
Give me 1 second to do some quick research here. Based on what Nath learned, that spell will probably fail, but there's no telling how it will fail.
Oh, nice.
There's a number of ways I can make that backfire, and I'm looking forward to exploring those ways with you. See how funny that is? I remind you that you have access to that spell, and then immediately send you to a plane where you can't use it.
Exactly, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to use it.
Nath doesn't really know the details. Like, are we going, and when everyone's together as a group, he'll ask, is this a fact-finding mission, or are you trying to punch your way through to this under-ocean gateway? Like, what are your goals once we enter the Abyss?
Cool.
We are going to a specific plane where we are going to meet with what is he, a lich? Darius?
Oh, you're going to meet Prince Darius.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And then we're just going to have a chat with him.
Yeah.
How are you going to get to the Abyss?
Can I ask one more question before we start?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, do I read about any limitations on abjurations? If I specifically research that.
Make an Arcana check.
Put a 0 after
I think
that.
I'm back up Kelian when he's not here. 12.
You get mixed information on that regard. You read a lot of accounts. There are no first-hand accounts, because if your abjuration spells don't work on the Abyss, you die immediately.
Probably
most likely.
die, yeah.
But there are a lot of accounts of protective magic abandoning the caster at the worst possible moment. But it seems like a lot of those accounts, to your eyes, aren't dealing with the spells that you usually cast, which would be abjuration magic. Okay. And very notably, you were told by one of Grant Darius's people that No Breath, which is a kind of a form of protective magic, will function fine there. This is a known issue in this particular area of the Abyss, or Plains of the Abyss without air. And it seems pretty reliable to you.
Okay, well, that's good.
I look forward to exploring this with you when you decide to use your shield spell against a Merilith who gets 7 attacks, and we'll see what happens.
So you were asking how we get to the Abyss?
How are you getting to the Abyss? You have a map of where to go once you're there, but how do you intend to actually get there?
Where's that list of known portals that we have somewhere?
Well, we have it, but it hasn't been updated in a while. It's on the party.
We haven't been to the Abyss in a long time. So I think if we know one, it'll be there.
While they're doing this, Brick, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a lawful good gods temple. Let's go with Bahamut. Just, picking one random walking down the street for amusement purposes. I'm going to buy 2 or 3 silver holy Bahamut as spell focuses for the banishment spell.
Silver what?
Holy symbol of Bahamut.
Okay.
Lawful good god.
Platinum, holy symbol of Bahamut.
Yeah. They wouldn't be silver Bahamut.
He's the platinum. He's the platinum dragon.
Now, did Nath really pick Bahamut randomly, or is it because these guys have had a lot of in their
I just walked down a street. Out of character, no, I did not pick it randomly. In character, he did.
They're like, last time the Harmonium were here.
Well, he's not he disguises himself as an Indept most of the time when he's in Sigil. So.
Okay.
We do have an Abyss portal.
So the most lawful and the most chaotic people in the party always walk around wearing disguises. Got it.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and purchase those holy symbols for whatever the price is in the PHB.
Okay.
I forget if it was Merles or somebody or Crawford or somebody tweeted out, like, what do your players spend all their money on? And I'm like, just garbage, just nonsense. They give half their magic items to the temple anyway.
I saw that tweet of yours and it was pretty good. I
remember that one.
Yeah, you can buy a couple of those.
Okay. You've been a bad influence on me, Brick, because Like, that's what I think of now, is that's what you spend money on. And I always really confused when my players say, how come you never give us any money? I'm like, what would you, what do you buy? What do you want?
Trust me, it goes nowhere good. So if the spell specifically requires silver holy symbols, they have those.
No, it
available.
requires something that the target hates. So I figure a holy symbol of a long good god will be a pretty handy thing to have.
They hate silver too.
Oh, okay.
The banishment spell, though, how does that function against somebody on their home plane?
It demi-planes them for concentration. So it may not work, but...
I'll make a quick ruling on that, because I know it's something that we've looked into before. Right, because if you use it on the outer planes, the demi-plane just kind of forms in the astral instead of the ethereal. That's what we decided. So if you use it on a demon on the abyss, it'll function pretty much normally, unless...
Except they can't... The concentration version can't send them anywhere after it ends, right? They just pop back.
Correct.
It can't be permanent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it looks like we don't know a way already to the abyss, but we do know a way back.
Do I have... Let me look at my portal list here.
Because if we can get to Korlak Keep, we know how to get back to Sigil from there.
Oh, right. It was a one-way portal because the portal key is a plant that cannot survive off of the plane, so there's no way for you to get the key. I don't know why my notes say backwards people live there. I guess I mean rednecks live in Korlak Keep.
I think it was like people whose heads were on backwards.
Like their heads and joints were backwards, maybe?
Yeah,
like that.
Creepy as hell, man.
That's metal.
I should have developed those guys and made them... Okay.
They're actually really forward-thinking, which is ironic.
So you guys spend the day putting all of that stuff together.
Sounds good.
One question I wanted to ask of Riot, because I have in my notes that I've already done this, but I have no memory of talking about it.
Well, you should have written down your character sheet.
That's what I'm saying. I'm looking at my character sheet, and I have notes that...
Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do I even have the guy's name anymore?
Zez?
The member of the Cartensen Brotherhood that you rescued.
Oh, yeah, that guy. His name was... I have it written down somewhere. Eriador.
Eriador. There he is. I was thinking a J. For some reason, it's an I. He has essentially... His brotherhood is dead and has no more purpose.
Yeah, we went over this.
We went over this. Okay, so he's devoted his life to Osprey at this point. So he is a resource that you might be able to find use for at some point.
Don't think I'm going to take him into the abyss, but it's good to know that he's around here.
Okay.
Why not? We were very reckless with our last paladin.
That's true, we were, weren't we? I forgot all the places we took Daniel to.
We're really bad on paladins.
Yeah,
He came through it okay.
Yeah.
He didn't, actually.
He very much didn't come through it okay.
I mean, except for that one little thing, but you can't harp on details.
He's alright now, and that's what counts.
Yeah, well, not in the head.
Kinda sucks now.
He's got that brain thing.
I don't know, Daniel seems alright. He seems the most put together of practically all the old PCs.
I want you to sit back for a second and have Riot consider to herself the fact that the one person she likes is the lawful good paladin on Mount Celestia.
No, Riot likes Fred a lot.
She keeps asking Fred for favors.
Yeah.
He doesn't give any of them.
Exactly.
Riot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? Before I do this, I need to take one quick check. The next day, you receive yet another romantic gift. As you return...
How am I never there when this guy shows up?
That's an excellent question.
It's very chaotic.
This is a very formal-looking invitation on gilded paper with very ornate inkwork around the border, and it's inviting you to a 7-course dinner at a very fancy restaurant on the plane of infinite portals.
Okay.
And part of the invitation is a spell scroll for the plane shift spell. Which you can't use, but Nath or Mahogany.
No, actually,
it's not on the bard list.
Not on the bard. Okay.
Druid and Wizard.
Gotcha.
Nath can scribe it.
If I had the resources, I'm pretty much tapped for gold from my.
I'll pay for it. I don't care.
He can't cast a level 7 spell yet, anyway. I don't think.
Yes, I can.
Can you?
Yep, those are my top. I have no reason to use my level 7 I have right now in Sigil.
Yeah.
Because they're Prismatic Spray in Mordecai's Magnificent Mansion.
Right.
I don't even know what money is.
But she's got that one level of cleric.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So Nath could use the spell scroll unfailingly. Riot would have to make a roll to make sure it worked properly. But that you can identify the spell yourself, though.
Yeah, I'll just give it to Nath anyway.
And of course, the invitation is from Kay.
Now, and I give it to Nath, like saying, "Now listen, when we use this, we can't be in Sigil. We have to go somewhere else first."
Easy enough. Do you mind? So if Mahogany's offering, I'll scribe the spell and then.
Yeah, I'll pay for it. Just tell me what I owe you.
Well, we need to find a tuning fork because when it comes in a scroll, it's already attuned. But when I cast it, we'll need the fork.
You need a different fork for each plane of existence. I picture Nath just having like a bayonet filled with tuning forks of all.
That was Terran, but Nath hasn't had the spell yet. So.
Oh, that's right. Terran did get it. That's why I brought it to mind, I guess.
There's a really rad YA series called Sabriel. That like the main character has this like basically bandolier of bells that she uses for different purposes.
I'm gonna. Yeah, so we got to get tuning forks from the various planes. Is that what I'm getting?
I would suggest getting one from the Abyss and one from a plane to return to. Someplace you consider safe. I would choose Limbo, but I feel like the rest of the group might not.
Limbo's fun.
Conscience returning to Limbo.
Been there. I mean, it's not great, but I guess it'll do at a pinch.
It's $350 for the spell and 100 for each tuning fork.
It's 250 gold. For
250
a fourth metal rod, a Tune of the Abyss, and these are things you can just buy outright in the bazaar. There are shops that just have these on racks.
Buying tuning forks is like buying state spoons.
Exactly. But we were looking that up earlier. Did any of us have a state spoon? Because we were.
Oh, I have one. Well, my mom has them.
Florida has both a state saltwater and freshwater fish, but no state spoon.
Well, that makes my spell prep a little bit easier.
I think Utah state fish was the most metal, we decided.
I am very confident that I never decided anything in my life about the Utah state fish. Not even a little bit. Very notably, though, this invitation doesn't have a particular date or time on it. Just, it's very vague on the details.
If Riot's sharing this with the rest of the party, man, Liberation will just remark, "Man, this guy likes you, but he just doesn't really want to take the plunge. I guess I don't know."
Does the invitation say I can bring a +3?
It doesn't say you can't.
Okay.
I mean, the spell allows you to bring up to 8.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that as a given then.
So, what tuning fork do you guys want to buy for returning?
Oh, Beastlands is fine.
Beastlands, yeah.
Beastlands is a good plane.
Yep.
It's a really good plane for me because I know where there's a portal back. That's right next to a tree.
Yeah, that works.
So because I had a brain fart and didn't name this restaurant, I just went to fantasynamegenerators.com, and now it's called The Bitter Mockingbird.
And that's on the portals?
Yes.
I gotta say,
Shitty
though,
Sigil, they call it.
inviting someone to a date on the Abyss is, that's That's
That's sending a mixed message, isn't it?
Well, she's a tiefling.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just trying to be considerate.
Maybe he just wants to meet her parents.
Well, they live in Sigil.
Wait, Riot's parents are alive?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Right, note to self: assassinate Riot's parents. All right.
Miller's gonna threaten your family.
Any other last-minute stuff you guys want to do before going to the Abyss?
No, I'm good.
Wait, I have a question.
Oh, yes?
What's Riot's parents' faction?
Oh, they're governors.
That's perfect.
I knew it. Somehow I knew it before he said it, but I knew it.
No one has ever asked, but I've always known.
That is the best thing.
I just assumed that she didn't have parents.
Oh man, that's the best thing.
What will... Okay, I'm going to apologize in advance if this messes up everything, but I need to know. What is going to happen when I try to make this the table?
Mahogany's parents are alive, but his wizard is dead.
I mean, that's not terrible.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's all
It's
right.
stretched, but it's all right still.
Those are some wide horses, but other than that, it looks all right.
It's the Abyss, so...
Are you body shaming those horses? Curves are beautiful, Nick.
Liberation's last thing in Sigil would be to.
They're called horses. They're wide horses.
if he's down to go visit with Haz and do what it is we do.
Meaning with sex? Sure.
Yeah.
He's into the weird shit, though. He's a satyr. His legs bend the other way, so...
That's not the only thing that bends the other way.
Hey,
Oh my.
You don't tell him you're going to the Abyss, do you?
Nah.
Okay.
Moving on from satyrs, going into this shit.
So the plan is for Nath to describe the spell, then you guys are going to take a portal you know to the Beastlands, and then plane shift to the Abyss. Is that correct?
Yep.
Have any of you been to the Plane of Infinite Portals before?
Unless that was the plane we were on last time, no.
No, it's not.
Mahogany mostly skips the Abyss.
Yeah, not a fan.
The only thing that
Ferocity's been there.
Ferocity's been to Little Sigil. It's the city of infinite portals in the plane of infinite portals.
But she hasn't been to the real Sigil on Fred's hat yet.
Right.
No, not
the
yet.
only thing
I think that was New Sigil.
That's New Sigil. Yeah.
That's New Sigil.
No, that's just Sigil, and your Sigil is Old Sigil,
Oh, right.
Okay.
which drives
Even
Kelian up the
old
wall.
New York was once New Amsterdam.
The Plane of Infinite Portals, and it's plain Plain, like a plane, by the way.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
I didn't get that.
Yep, because it's a layer.
It's a layer of the Abyss. It's the top layer. Is pretty friggin' horrible. Picture like just this sand-blasted wasteland with an eternally burning sun in the sky.
No.
I mean, that's where you guys are. So when you plane shift, you're able to specify a location that you're plane shifting to?
Yep. Did the letter come with a specific location?
Yeah, the Bitter
It didn't.
Mockingbird.
Yeah, the Bitter Mockingbird, yeah.
Well, we'll be within 200 miles.
Okay.
That's promising.
So,
On the infinite planes, it's actually much more complicated than that.
Wait, so this isn't an infinite plane?
Well, on the more... I couldn't just say 200 miles if we were shifting on the limbo mathematical formula to that question.
But I thought the Abyss was infinite.
It is, but not in the same way that some of the other... There are different types of infinities.
Let me peel you this onion.
this doesn't say anything about 200 miles in the plane shift spell. It just says
That might be a thing of older editions.
That's teleport. Teleport's real fucked up.
if you specify a destination in general terms, you arrive near to it.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking the old... I'm sorry, I think 3rd edition it was 200 miles or
I was about to make you roll 2d100.
So yeah,
But wait, that might be worse. Because if we arrive near to somewhere on an infinite portal, couldn't that technically be anywhere in infinity?
You're giving me ideas. That's dangerous.
They're relative infinities, though.
You arrive, and there is nothing in eyeshot on the horizon, which just stretches out in all different directions, except for what looks like, at this distance, just a mirage. Some kind of construction pile of stones or something off in the distance. There is an incessant buzzing sound in the air, like there are always insects nearby. And is anybody immune to sunburn?
No.
It's a weird question to ask.
Yeah.
You're on the first layer of the abyss. It's a pertinent question to ask.
Where would we find that? Under
You...
physical skin deformities? Under race? But
I mean, Mahogany has never been more miserable in his life, except maybe in that salt room at the Doom.
yeah, I gotta say, I don't think that's accurate, because I've been on the plane of salt.
But I mean, the heat here is just drying you out something fierce. The way it's going to work mechanically is, unless you have some kind of magical protection or can convince me otherwise, you're going to become exhausted faster by marching along or marching across this plane. Is the plan to head for the Mockingbird, wherever it might be, or is the plan to just blow that off and follow Riot's map?
Riot's map is kind of like not really a map, it's just her knowing where to go.
When you look at the map, you have an intuition of where you need to go to find this portal.
Right. So I figure we will be able to probably do that either from here or from... Because there was no starting origin point from the map.
Mm-hmm.
We just happened to pick this point.
Yes.
And so I don't see why we wouldn't apply equally to leaving from the Mockingbird. So I would like to go to the Mockingbird.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, looking at the map, you have a long journey ahead of you. Maybe a week or so by foot. And it's just across this sun-blasted landscape. Most of the features listed on the map are battleground sites, where one army of Tanari has faced off against another for some imperceived slight or who knows why. The only major physical feature is this incredibly large ravine that splits the land in half, and you need to go over it. And once you do, there is a ruin that contains the portal to Grant Sterius' lair.
Okay.
It's a ruin. It's always a ruin.
Yep.
Is the mirage thing that we're seeing off in the distance that we think might be the Mockingbird?
It's pretty much the only thing you can see. It's many miles away from where you're standing.
But it's not across the ravine.
No, it's not.
Okay.
In fact, you can't see any sign of this particular ravine in eyeshot. You're probably a week's travel away from it.
Okay. So I can cast Tiny Hut as a ritual.
Yep.
If anybody else, and I'm saying this to the party, if you ever feel like you just can't go anymore, we can stop and take a short rest.
Yeah.
I also have extra planar pocket if you don't even want to be on the plane, which I might not. How would you feel about... Can all of you ride?
Ride what?
A horse?
What's a
What?
horse?
I can ride basically anything.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Liberation-
Phantom Steed only makes one steed in this edition.
Yep.
That's dumb. Never mind. No quasi-real horse-like creature.
You can
Well, if
summon
someone
your
gets
steed.
tired, I can provide a horse.
Mahogany could turn into a zebra.
A quasi-real horse.
And then the other two of us can ride. Yeah, that sounds good.
Liberation still is still at the point of what's a horse.
Quadruped.
So at the end of a full day's travel, assuming you don't run into roving packs of Tanari that kill you all, everybody will take 2 levels of exhaustion instead of 1. Because of the sun.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying we should take shorter, more frequent
More
rests.
intermittent rests. Okay.
Yeah.
That just means you cover less ground in a particular day, though.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I would rather do that than just take so much exhaustion.
Yeah.
How many often do we need to rest per day in order to not get exhaustion?
Well, typically you have to do an 8-hour rest per day of travel, which eliminates the exhaustion of the day's travel, which is why we normally don't track it. But because of the sun and how exhausting travel is here, you would need more long rests, essentially. You'd have to spend 2 or 3 days in one spot resting to eliminate the 1 day's worth of exhaustion. If instead of marching for like a full 8 hours, if instead you only do like a 5-hour per day and commit to using the tiny hut to taking short rests, I'll say that you won't take the second level of exhaustion at the end of the day. You're taking measures to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the tiny hut keeps out the sun as well.
Yeah. So it gives you...
and as soon as you put up the tiny hut, I'm going to private sanctum it. I've got the spell.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out how many of these we needed, because that's not a ritual.
Everybody
Can
make...
Can I ask Nath seriously the second or third time he does this, why he's so crazy about all this abjuration, or why he's so crazy about this private sanctum stuff?
Do you want something scrying you or reading your mind without you knowing? Or teleporting into your bedroom?
That has literally never once happened to me.
Me either, and I'm intend to keep it that way.
Now wait, hold up. You had a ring of mind shield.
You don't know that?
No, I do, because we had a whole conversation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'll give Nath my ring of mind shielding if it matters so much to you here.
Don't you need this?
Not anymore.
I mean, I still feel that it's prudent to have the protection from teleportation and scrying, but that's very kind of you, Riot. Thank you. I'm in your debt.
Yeah, just remember that next time.
Yes, absolutely. Next time we find some sort of treasure, I'll give you an extra share. You can have mine. Is this an attunement?
Wait, what if it's a wand of Illithid Slay?
It is attuned.
Okay. Well, I'll attune to that on the first short rest then. But I'm still going to cast Private Sanctum. I mean, you're doing what, a 10-minute ritual, a 15-minute ritual?
Yeah, 10-minute.
Yeah, it's a 10-minute cast for me too. So we're both just double casting.
Okay.
I want everybody to make a wisdom saving throw. Mahogany, Riot, you two can make this at advantage. Your DC is only 12. I'm sorry, not 12, 10.
Okay, well, I got a 12 and a 10.
Okay.
So which one of those do I want? Actually, I got a 12 and a 14, I guess.
You say the DC is 12?
Nath failed, continuing to keep my inherited Kelian luck.
How did Liberation do?
21.
21? Okay, so only Nath
Why
failed?
did you ask?
Okay. This buzzing sound that's so incessant in the air. Mahogany and Riot, you guys took extreme measures on Pandemonium to learn how to resist the maddening effects of these kind of sounds. Liberation and Nath, you have never known its like. Nath, you become, as walking, the sound is so pervasive, you become convinced that there are insects buzzing around your head all the time. And the rest of you see Nath just randomly start swatting in front of his face, and you can see that it's really starting to get to him.
Nath, do you need a hug?
I need a... I wonder... I'm trying to think if I know any spells that would hedge out creatures of this size. If they're evil, Magic Circle might do it, but it's not mobile.
All I can do is a hug.
And I'll hug. Liberation. Didn't help. Thanks, Seth. Ugh, see that one? It was
Amaterasu being
practically
with you.
it was the size of a man's thumb. Ugh.
So you guys pace yourselves, and you march for several hours before stopping, and Riot puts up the tiny hut. And you guys take some respite from the sun, and then march for several more hours. And the thing on the horizon starts to take shape, and it starts to look like a massive red stone fortress. After the second break for the day, thinking that you'll manage to reach your destination before, quote-unquote, nightfall. There won't be any nightfall here. You see off in the distance something traveling in your direction that originated probably from that fortress, although you're way too far away to tell details at this point as far as what it is or how many, or... It's basically just a cloud of dust in the distance at this point.
We take a break. I say we take a break and be ready for it when it comes.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd cast that Sanctum thing you got going there, Nath. You might want to save your pet juice.
It's mostly for when we're resting. Note, Brick, that as soon as Nath became attuned to the ring, you made it invisible, just in case it's ever relevant.
Okay. Very well. Let me make a note that Nath has that ring now.
Yeah, I took it off my character sheet.
Very good. The saddest day of my DM career is when I had to remove the nose from the list of magic items because you guys gave it away.
You never know. Maybe Bahamut has a nose now.
Mahogany has so much shit. I guess it's all just in his shop and we've forgotten about it.
Like we went over this last session.
A bunch of scrolls and
yeah, there's a bunch of dumb shit back
there. We finally inventoried it because we thought that people were coming to burn it all down.
Oh. So your response to this thing moving in your direction is to
let it come to us.
Let it come to you? Okay. And as the thing gets bigger and bigger, you realize it's a cart being driven by two gigantic beetles. Easily the size of horses. And it's not a very fancy cart. It's not like it doesn't have like a carriage house or anything. It's just a place for a man to sit and then a spot on the back to probably stack up cargo or goods, but which is currently empty. The person driving it is almost certainly a Tiefling of some manner. Pitch black skin and very tiny ears. His hair is just a single kind of like top knot that fades down into a tail that traces down his back and then onto the seat next to him. He's wearing kind of almost gaudy looking like livery, like a tunic, a black tunic with silver trim. And the symbol on it matches the same one on Riot's invitation to the Bitter Mockingbird. And he looks extremely upset to see anybody as he drives up and pulls his beetles to a stop. And the dust comes to a settle behind him. And he looks down with bright red eyes and starts looking over all of you as if not sure what to make of you.
Right, Wavestone asks, "You from the Mockingbird?"
He asks, "Do you have a reservation?"
And Riot pulls out the invitation and shows him.